चलो गुणजित गुणेभ्यः नक्तं दिवं सकरुणं तव पादपद्मं मोहं कषं बहुकृतं न भजे यतोऽहं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो भक्तिर्भगश्च भजनं भवभेदकारी गच्छन्तलं सुविपुलं गमनाय तत्त्वं वक्रोद्धृतं तु हृदये न मे भाति किञ्चित् तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो तेजस्तरन्ति तरसा त्वयि तृप्त तृष्णा रागे कृते ऋतपथे त्वयि राम कृष्णे मर्त्यामृतं तव पदं मरणोर्मि नाशं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो कृतं करोति कलुषं कुहकान्तकारी शान्तं शिवं सुविमलं तव नाम नाथ यस्मादहं त्वशरणो जगदेकगम्य तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ सर्वमङ्गल माङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके सृष्टि स्थिति विनाशानां शक्ति भूते सनातनी जय महामाई की जय। जय भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण देव की जय। जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय। प्रकृतिं परमां अभयां वरदां नररूपधरां जनतापहरां शरणागत सेवक दोषकरीं प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां गुणहीन सुतान् अपराधयुतान् कृपयाद् समुद्धर मोहगतान् तरणीं भवसागर पारकरीं प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां विषयं कुसुमं परिहृत सदा चरणाम्बुरुयामृत शान्तिशुधां पिब भृङ्गमनो भवरोगहरां प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां कृपां कुरु महादेवी शुतेषु प्रणतेषु च चरणाश्रयदानेन कृपामयि नमोऽस्तु ते लज्जापटावृते नित्यं शारदे ज्ञानदायिके पापेभ्यो न सदा रक्ष कृपामयि नमोऽस्तु ते रामकृष्णगतप्राणां तन्नाम श्रवणप्रियां शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः।
Thank you. Namah Shri Atirajaya Vivekananda Sure Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swami Netapaharane. So somebody pointed out that we hadn't read this one paragraph in the middle after this part where Swami Vivekananda essentially talks about this concept of heaven and its superficiality and emptiness of substance. And then he comes to this point. Now philosophy insists, here's the thing, essentially what are the heavens, this idea of a heaven based on, and it's basically this idea of having joy and or pleasure without having to suffer through pains. And he essentially points out that this is a kind of a futile imagination, and it cannot possibly be based on any conviction in truth. And therefore he starts analyzing, but comes to the following conclusion, which is the output of the analysis, and that's this paragraph. Now philosophy insists that there is a joy which is absolute, which never changes. That joy cannot be the joys and pleasures we have in this life. And yet, Vedanta shows that everything that is joyful in this life is but a particle of that real joy, because that is the only joy there is. I mean, these are very cryptic but very pregnant sentences. Everything that is joyful in this life is but a particle of that real joy, because that is the only joy there is. See, there are two words here, simple words, and it's very easy to miss them. Only joy there is. See, essentially, this, when we say that something is, we don't ask ourselves, okay, this room is, this laptop is, asti, said in Sanskrit. What do we really mean by this word? What do we really mean by this verb? And it's really the analysis of this. Unfortunately, it's become the domain of philosophy, both in Eastern and in Western schools. It's a field called ontology, existence. What does it mean to be? What is this philosophy of being, etc., etc. And then it becomes some kind of an intellectual rigmarole without getting into the heart of the matter. It's this simple conviction that we have at every moment of our existence: I am, or this world is. Without asking, what do I mean by it? What do I mean to say that something is? In particular, what does it mean to say that something is real? And here the analysis is, what exactly is joy in all of this experience? Is it the object of experience? Well, if you remove it, what is the subjective joy content, which is what we are really seeking? This analysis and separation of the superficial from the essential, this is called Sat Asat Viveka. Viveka is this word analysis from which Vivekananda comes. Sat versus Asat, that which is versus that which is not, in a fundamental way. And what he's saying here is that is the only joy that there is. What he means here is that if we go to the essence of any experience that we have, where we claim we are feeling joyful, and isolate and are capable of grasping the joy in it without any dependence, without any event or external circumstance, if we can separate out the subjective feeling of joy, what we would have arrived at is exactly this subjective idea of isness. This is what is meant by saying that this is the only joy there is. It's basically using both the word joy and the word is in the deepest possible sense of these words. So these are words which indicate realities. And when we say that I am feeling joyful, and okay, so yes, there can be superficial things. Have an ice cream, feel joyful for the moment. But what is that particle of joy that we are experiencing? After all, we are seeking it at every moment of our lives. But what is it? Do we even try to grasp it, understand it? No. Most of the time our lives are mechanical and we go by without grasping the essence of joy in any experience that we claim is something that is giving us joy. Okay? Every moment, and this is how he goes on, every moment really, we are enjoying the absolute bliss. Though covered up misunderstood, and caricatured. Wherever there is any blessing, blissfulness, or joy, even the joy of the thief in stealing, it is that absolute bliss coming out, only it has become obscured, muddled up, as it were, with all sorts of extraneous conditions and misunderstood. He brings in this third dimension, understanding. Yeah? Essentially, the three faculties, three fundamental faculties of the human psyche is what he's referring to here. First, talked about joy, then isness. Yeah? The psyche says that I am, the world is. And there was this other experience of joy which was guiding all our activities. Now he says, misunderstood. Understanding comes in. First, isness is the sat or asti aspect of things, of beings. Joy, ananda aspect of things, or priya aspect of things, as they say in Vedanta. And bhati, or understanding, or jnana. Yeah? Chit. So essentially what one is saying here is that this notion of isness inquired to its depth. Notion of joy inquired to its depth. Notion of understanding or knowledge inquired into till its depth. Essentially lead to the same reality. In fact, there is no reality other than this. However, subjective inquiry means what? Looking at one's experiences as the raw data that needs to be analyzed. What am I seeking? And in this phenomenon of a particular experience, where is it? Is it in the objective reality, or is it the subject itself? The subject of the experience itself. This separating out, starting with the raw data of our individual experiences, and essentially separating out that which is transient. When something moves and changes, we don't say that it is. We say it is changing, which means that which it was a moment back is no longer what it is now. So therefore, this is, again in Vedanta, this is said, is called Nitya Anitya Viveka, which means that which is going away cannot be described as something that is Sat. Yeah? That's what is being talked about here. However, this is not something that is easy to grasp. So he says, but to understand that, we have to go through the negation, and then the positive side will begin. Why? Because our minds are much too engrossed and habituated in thinking of the superficial and the transient and these passing pleasures as the real joy. This is the muddle-headedness that we are all going through, and therefore negation. Negation meaning separating out and saying, oh, this is not really what I was seeking. This is the meaning, not just this. This empirical experience with its joys and woes is not all that there is to me, to the essential part of my being. This feeling of discontent, wherein is the real joy, wherein is the real knowledge. Yeah, this question, when we ask it of ourselves, ask it in our hearts of ourselves, that is what Viveka is about. That is what discrimination analysis, subjective analysis, the tool of somebody who is at least in part practicing this Jnana Yoga is about. And so, that which is superficial is recognized as such Negation means what? Recognition of the superficial as the superficial, and hence bereft of final lasting value. It's this giving up of this from the heart, saying that, oh, this is of no use to me because I am after something much more fundamental. This quest for something that is a fundamental reality, quest for something which is a source of fundamental joy, which cannot be decomposed further. Clear knowledge without any other secondary secondary factors that muddle it. Yeah? This quest for pure knowledge. Yeah? This is where it is. We have to give up. What is it that is given up? We have to give up ignorance. That's all. This ignoring our essential nature, ignoring the source from which all of this comes, is what ignorance is about. And that's there within ourselves. It's not something that we have to search for. Any particle of knowledge, any insight that we have gained has come from within. We have to give up that ignorance which basically ignores this source and all that is false. False meaning what? Oh, the joy is in the ice cream. That's clearly a false statement. Can we give it up? That's the false statement. So therefore, identifying joy with the ice cream itself, the object with the subjective experience, this conflation, this confusion, is what ignorance is about. And automatically the mind projects itself outward and says that this object of experience is the joy that we are seeking. A moment's thought says, okay, no, it's the joy, the ice cream is just some bunch of amount of milk and sugar, etc., packed in a little tub or a cup. How can that be joy? Can't be. But what are we seeking? We are seeking that subjective experience of joy. So it can't be the ice cream. But do our hearts give it up? No. Why? Because this enquiry is to feel with the thinking, the analysis should come simultaneously with the feeling and the will. Which means this volitional aspect of our being and the feeling aspect of our being needs to be unified with this analytical thinking. When these three get unified, oh, this is of no lasting value, this cannot be the lasting joy I am seeking, and we give it up completely. Yeah? That's what this ignorance, giving up the ignorance and giving up all that is false means. And then truth will begin to reveal itself to us. When we have grasped the truth, and what happens when we have grasped the essence of all our experiences as joy, as knowledge, as existence itself, things which we gave up at first will take new shape and form, will appear to us in a new light and become deified. They will have become sublimated, and then we shall understand them in their true light. But to understand them, we have first to get a glimpse of the truth. We must give them up at first, and then we get them back again deified. We have to give up all our miseries and sorrows, all our little joys. See, here's the thing. It's basically, we say that we are seeking this permanent source of joy, or permanent source of permanent clear understanding knowledge, but we are unwilling to correct our little habits which make us act opposite to that, clinging to these little things and claiming that these are the things that give us joy. The ice cream gives us joy, and the ice cream is something we don't give up. Yeah? What this is saying is that exercising this viveka, exercising this analytical faculty, this capacity to discriminate, there in all of us, it's one of the defining faculties of human beings. What? Exercise that faculty and give up that which is superficial. That's all that is being said. Why? Because thinking of the superficial as deep or as fundamental is what ignorance is about. Conflating the inessential with the essential, confusing the inessential with the essential. Yeah? In the Adhyas Bhashya of Shankara to the Brahma Sutra, this conflation or confusion is what is called Adhyasa. And therefore, the tool to remove it, to get at the essence of things, is this faculty which is there in all of us. All we need to do is exercise it. By exercising physically, we develop muscles, right? Physical strength. This strength of the heart comes through this exercising it in this faculty, exercising this faculty in discriminating and throwing away that which is inessential. This constant exercise of viveka is what gives rise to that subjective strength that allows us to regard the superficial experience as something that is not particularly of great lasting value, transitory. We experience joys and sorrows, and sometimes we get caught up in some joys, and sometimes we become overcome by sorrows. What is the pragmatic utility of this exercise? Essentially what will happen is that we will not be thrown off guard, we will not be thrown off kilter by the various transient experiences of life. Joys will not be able to raise us to sudden highs, sorrows will not be able to throw us down into terrible depths, which means equanimity of the mind starts developing. Capacity to hold one's own in the face of adversity. Experiences come, experiences go. We do not attribute permanent reality to things that are transient. Okay? What happens when the mind has been trained, when this exercising has been done? The heart and psyche have developed strong muscles in terms of this capacity to discriminate. See, Yama basically, that's why he gives this whole series of discussions. Shreyasya preyasya manushyameta tav avidhyayan vivinakti dhiraha. He focuses on the exercise that has to be undergone, the viveka, the capacity for viveka that has to be developed, to discriminate, to analyze, and throw away, vairagya, to throw away that which is inessential. When the mind has now been tuned, it has now become receptive. So far, Yama did not answer the question of Nachiketa. Because without this preparation, if he just says what the answer is, the mind will not be receptive to grasping. After all, this is an Upanishad. It's not meant for one individual, one fictitious individual or one individual in a story. It's not meant for the Nachiketa in the story. It is meant for the Nachiketa in each one of us who inquires sincerely. And to that receptive mind comes the answer. And he says, Vivekananda says, Now Yama answers the question. After all this preparation, after having prepared the mind of the questioner to be able to grasp the answer, gives the answer. What is the answer? And he says, what is the question? What becomes of a man when the body dies? This was the question that Nachiketa asked. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye asti tyeke nayam asti iti chaike. And here's the answer. This wise one never dies, is never born. That's the answer, one line. Which means what? He says after a person dies, some say that is, some say is not. What he says? What he says is that never dies, but then, the person might have immediately jumped to the conclusion, oh, then I shall live forever. Is never born. So long as I consider myself a being that has come into existence, I am confused, I am not understanding things clearly, and therefore, once I start understanding that I am never born, immediately its opposite will also never happen. The original Sanskrit is rather powerful, and here it is. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit, nayam kutaschit na babhuva kaschit, ajo nitya shashvatoyang purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. See, the Bhagavad Gita actually has absorbed, or taken verses from the various Upanishads. It's said in one place. This is a verse that comes in the second chapter after a slight modification. But this is the original verse in the Kathopanishad. Na jayate, that means is not born. Mriyate va, nor dies. Vipaschit, wise one. Nayam kutaschit, na babhuva kaschit. Never has it come into existence. Aja. Aja means, again, he repeats that. Aja means that which is not born. Nitya. Therefore, beyond the grasp of time, therefore permanent. Permanent does not mean in time. Permanent means that which is not conditioned by time. Shashvataha. Yeah? Again, this is basically this shwa. Yeah? Not changing from today to tomorrow. Purana. Pura eva nava eva. That which was there in the ancient times but is eternally new. Which means what? All these contradictions that we get out of the notion of time and thinking of ourselves as kaladhina are taken away. There is the reality. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It does not die when the body dies. That which was not born does not die when the body dies. That which was not born. If I think I am the body, then I was born, then I will die. It's gone. That which was not born cannot die with the extermination of the body. This is what is being said. And going back to the English translation, the wise one never dies, is never born. It arises from nothing, and nothing arises from it. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit, na ayam kutaschit, na ayam kutaschit, na babhuva kaschit. Does not arise from anything, nothing arises from it. Eternal, everlasting, this ancient one, ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano, can never be destroyed with the destruction of the body. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano If the slayer thinks he can slay, or if the slain thinks he is slain, they both do not know the truth, for the self neither slays nor is slain. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. A most tremendous position. I should like to draw your attention to the adjective in the first line, which is wise. Vipashchit. In the Kathopanishad, in the first part, the second chapter, the first 1.2, first verse, Dhiraha. One who is equipped with this steady intellect, steady, powerful, strong mind, capable of analyzing and throwing away the inessential, grasping only the essential. It is for such minds, such strong souls, that this capacity to grasp reality without untrammeled by various superficial complications, all the stuff, all our misunderstanding, seen for what it is, lack of clarity, and dismissed, dispensed with. When that mind becomes habituated in this practice and is capable of throwing something, then only he starts grasping this reality. And then says, oh, what was I really afraid of? I was really afraid of what? Essentially, that I was actually conflating the notion of existence, the notion of joy, the notion of knowledge, with all these conditioned things. But now, with the capacity to discriminate, becoming more and more powerful, taking a better and better grasp on our hearts and minds, what happens? The inessential becomes something that you can see as different from oneself. And so, what happens? Oh, I was thinking that I am going to die with the death of this body, but that was a result of my mistaken thinking. And so we keep on trying to correct systematically by holding on to this locus of consciousness in us. What happens is the superficiality is driven away from our lives. See the way Vivekananda translates it. Is never born, arises from nothing, and nothing arises from it. I'd like to bring in, while I was reading it, the first karika of the Mula Madhyamika karika of Nagarjunacharya resonates with this. Neither from itself, nor from another, nor from both, nor without a cause, does anything anywhere ever arise. One straight cut through this whole rigmarole of causality. In fact, most of the arguments that you see in Shankara are directed against the Karma Kandins, who are basically subscribers to a mechanical form of life, which is what gives rise to all this notion of papa, punya. You go and take a dip here, you go and do 50 push-ups in front of God in the morning, and all your sins will be taken away, etc., 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 etc. This cause and effect thing at one stroke, and all these notions of you do good work, you're going to go to heaven, you do bad work, you're going to go to hell, and all this rigmarole, all this structure that we have built up essentially to add to the confusion and lack of clarity in our heads. One sharp stroke of Viveka gone. Why? Because this is something that is not caught within the framework of causality. All karma and all the theory and okay, you have to have this apurva and all kinds of esoteric, confusing explanations at one stroke removed. But it needs a mind that has the capacity to grasp that sharp sword of discrimination. It's said, for example, of Totapuri, the person who gave sannyasa to Sri Ramakrishna, that at a certain point the two were discussing this higher truths of Vedanta, and a certain person came along and picked up they were sitting in front of a fire discussing these high Vedantic truths, and he picked up a log from that fire. Why? Because he wanted to light something containing tobacco. Totapuri immediately became furious, basically because in their tradition the fire was regarded as sacred, and here was this person defiling the fire. I mean, it's very similar to people who are, it's somebody for people who are traditionally religious in various different religious sects. If somebody comes along and desecrates your temple or your mosque or your church. So this desecration was what was opposed here. And what happens? Totapuri became furious, because after all this is what his alambana was. And Sri Ramakrishna started laughing. And Totapuri was surprised. Why are you laughing? He says, isn't this a terrible thing to do, to desecrate the fire? He says, yeah, that's all very fine. But where has all your analysis of the Vedanta gone? Just a minute back, we were discussing all these elevated truths of the Vedanta, and in this moment you have forgotten all that and have become overpowered by anger. This much is a story that is well known. What's not so well known is Totapuri's response. He immediately calms down and becomes a witness of the anger, so to speak. And he responds to Ramakrishna by saying, yes, you are absolutely right. This anger is a very nasty thing. I renounce it here. And from what people have heard, the man was never seen to get angry again. In one of these books, Richard Schiffman's biography of Sri Ramakrishna, he writes, one cannot but admire the scalpel-like stern precision of the mind, which, the moment it recognizes something as harmful, is capable of giving it up at a moment's notice. This is what happens when the mind is trained in Viveka. Discrimination, the mind has become so strong that the moment it recognizes that it has taken something else which is harmful to one's being as oneself, it cuts itself loose from it and throws it away. Never. What has happened is that the mind has become so strong that this one practice of throwing away anger as anitya, as ajnana, one act is enough to make the mind reside in its core and not be disturbed from it. We'll return to this next time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.